Hi, Carlyn here. Today, we're talking about hair, specifically curly, mixed, natural hair. As a biracial woman with naturally curly hair myself, my relationship with my own hair has been, let's say, complicated. For much of my 20s and early 30s, I did keratin smoothing treatments. Then I took a break for a few years, but have recently been contemplating returning to them. And I've been thinking a lot about how I choose to wear my hair and why. Straight, natural, somewhere in between. How does how I wear my hair make me feel? And what does it say to me, to other people? Outside my own experience, the conversation around curls and natural hair has become more pronounced in recent years. From the rise of curly brands and products like Pattern by Tracee Ellis Ross and Asima by Shakira, to hairstyle trends like cloud curls, to increased representation of curls on film and TV. So in this episode, Elaine and I are digging into our own hair stories, how they've changed, what they've meant, and we're asking, what does it really mean to embrace your hair? Let's get into it. Again, I'm Carlyn.
And I'm Elaine.
Welcome back to our podcast, Related. Okay, Elaine.
Okay, Carlyn.
So we're not the first to talk about curly hair, natural hair, mixed hair.
What are you talking about? This is groundbreaking.
But I don't think you and I have ever really had a sit-down conversation. We've talked in passing about our respective relationship to our hair and how we wear our hair. But I'm really excited to actually dig into this with you because, as I mentioned in the intro, hair has been very top of mind for me recently. I think especially in the past couple of years since stopping keratin treatments and kind of getting back in touch with my natural hair texture.
Yeah.
So I just want to start off by asking, what is your relationship with your hair? And I'll obviously share mine. And I'm curious, I mean, we'll start there. What is your relationship with your hair?
Me and my hair.
And maybe also describe your hair to listeners. And I can do the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have pretty curly hair. Though unlike a lot of natural hair that would be described as curly, it doesn't bunch up. So it's also got length. So it falls down my shoulders. Mm-hmm. I think my curl classification is something like 4C or something.
No, you're not.
3C? 3C?
3C.
3C. Yeah. Clearly, I pay a lot of attention to the curl classifications. And so it's like I can comb it when it's wet and I can do things with it that are not traditional African-American hairstyles, but it takes time.
Yep.
How would you describe your hair?
I would describe my hair. Well, it's interesting because I think when we were kids, I'm a little unfamiliar with my natural hair type. And I don't know how much keratin treatments did or did not. And so it's okay. Basically, as you know, my hair was pretty curly, pretty similar to yours, maybe a little bit looser.
Yeah. I think I had the curliest hair of the three of us.
The three of us, yeah. So I think I was probably like a 3B, like combination 3C maybe. And I also have this tendency where the hair at the sort of front of my crown, so you call it, tends to be a little bit straighter. But it was pretty curly, through college. But I didn't really know, this was sort of pre-curly girl method. I didn't really know how to take care of it. And so I started doing keratin treatments, which after a few years actually like took away a lot of my curl. It was, I would say, kind of wavy hair. And then a few years ago, I stopped doing keratin treatments to sort of, frankly, better understand my hair type. And it's not as curly as I remember. And I don't know how much of that is hormonal or whatnot. But it's still, I would say, like a 3A, 3B now, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've talked about the length. Mine gets longer. than yours.
Which is also probably a result of as soon as my hair grows, it curls.
Yes.
So if I pull it, it goes down to my waist. But
Yeah.
when
I think
it's,
you technically have longer hair than I do.
yes,
I think, but mine tends to fall naturally longer than yours.
yes.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
funny thing is also when I do wear my curls out, when they're wet, they're longer. And then as
Yep.
they dry shorter. So I just actually got out of the shower. I have my hair down because I'm going to a coffee later today.
Yep.
My curls currently reach to like the middle of my chest. By the time they dry, they will be above my shoulders.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now that we've set the standard for what our hair types are, what is your relationship to your hair? And I'm curious also how that has evolved for you over the years.
Yeah. So I think my relationship with my hair is just like acceptance at this point. We have had a really bumpy ride. I think when we were little, there was not a lot of acceptance of curly hair. So
Yeah.
a lot of girls who had hair that looked like mine straightened it. And that was always something that I don't know if I resisted it at the beginning. I think mom resisted it at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think mom really liked our curls
Yeah.
and tried to instill a sense of pride in them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you remember, there were times in middle school when I had braids or cornrows.
Yeah.
So I've actually had this like journey through what it means to manage my hair. There were also times in high school where I flat ironed my hair to get it straight
Mm.
temporarily. So like
Yeah.
prom, I had straight hair.
Yeah.
Big events, I had straight hair in high school. It was like something
Yeah.
special to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there was the keratin phase, which happened,
Mm-hmm.
I think like started like 10 years ago. I feel like I was in college.
Yep. And I remember you
Um,
strongly resisting.
yeah, but it actually wasn't because I didn't want straight hair. It was
Mm.
actually because of the health implications of it. There was
Right.
like a lot of talk about cancer, and honestly, I wasn't super worried about myself, but there was
For the
a lot of the studies
hairdressers.
said that the hairdressers could be more
Yeah.
affected. I didn't need my hair to be straight that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and so I kind of just accepted it. And so I guess that's where I am.
Yeah. What is your current hair care process? I'm curious.
Yeah. So my current hair process is in the shower, I comb it, I do conditioner, I wash the conditioner out. I
Yeah.
probably shampoo every couple of weeks, usually when I go
Yeah.
on a big hike and I get really
Yeah.
sweaty and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I just want to feel refreshed.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big shampoo person. I do conditioner every shower and comb my hair. And then I usually put it up in a bun and it air dries. And
Mm.
that's kind of it. When I'm going out or something, or when I want my hair to look different, I will, once I get out of the shower, I'll do a leave-in conditioner
Yep.
and style it. And then whatever I style it in, that's kind of it. There's
Yep.
no adjusting throughout the day. It's the only adjustment I can make then is to put it into a ponytail.
Yep. And do you
So,
ever, as far as I'm aware, you haven't straightened or done braids or cornrows or anything in a really long time?
yeah, I think the last time I straightened it was maybe law school.
Wow.
It's really
Wow.
expensive to
Yep.
do in a hairdresser, and it takes a really long time to do by yourself. And I just haven't felt the need.
Yep.
All right, and you?
Yeah. So it's interesting because I think you touched on the part of our childhood where curls were definitely not embraced, they were not trendy. But I do think there was also the component of curls were just, there was not a ton of education around curls. And like, thank you, mom, for, doing what you could. But I also don't think mom knew a ton about
No.
curls either. Right. And so honestly, I remember this moment. I think it was in college when I first discovered. Do you remember the brand Mixed Chicks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I came across this brand Mixed Chicks, and that was sort of I think my hair up until then, it was always frizzy. I often brushed it out, which I have since learned you're not supposed to do with curly hair. It just always felt kind of like a frizzy nest on top of my head. And so it often ended up being pulled back into a bun.
Yeah.
And it was in college that I discovered this brand Mixed Chicks. And I started sort of playing with it, playing with the leave-in conditioner. I learned that I was not supposed to be using, sulfate shampoos that would dry out my hair, things that I had honestly gone the better part of 20 years just doing things that I apparently now we know you're not really supposed to do for curls. And even then, though, I still think there was the component of curls were not fully embraced. And I also remember I had a couple of good friends. One was biracial, one was Black, and actually another was, a white woman. Started getting keratin treatments shortly after college, and their hair just seemed so much more manageable. I think that was the biggest thing for me was the desire to have, yes, there was a desire to have sort of smoother, straighter hair, but also, I'm also the kind of person who doesn't wear a ton of makeup. When it comes to like beauty maintenance, it's just not my jam. I kind of prefer to roll out of bed in the morning and be okay. The truth with curly hair is you cannot do that.
No.
And you cannot do that if you want your curls to look nice.
Right.
Let's
Right.
do that,
No,
right?
but even just to put mine in a presentable ponytail, I have to take a
Yeah.
shower every morning. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Or you have to, sleep with a silk pillowcase or a bonnet. I mean, there are all these things that you can do, but they're time intensive and frankly also kind of expensive too. Like you
Yeah.
referenced that straightening your hair is expensive. I'm now doing sort of curly hair routine, and all the products and things that are required are also expensive as well. So anyway, I was pretty resistant for a while. I think partly because of the chemicals and partly because I didn't want to actually lose my curls. I just wanted a better way to maintain them. But eventually I took the leap, and frankly, I would say for the first 3 years, it was amazing. I didn't lose my curls. It just kind of loosened them. They defrizz them. And frankly, sort of to the point that we're talking about around the cultural sort of tenets, a lot of people reacted really, really positively. They were like, "Oh my gosh, you look so beautiful. Your hair looks so great." And you're like, "Oh my God, did I look so awful before?" So that I think that also shed some, I think for me, some negative connotations around sort of my natural curly hair. But then, yeah, I did keratins for honestly the better part of 10 years. And I would say by the end of the 10 years, I had kind of lost my curl pattern, which we've now learned that I think if you do keratin too much, it can take the curl pattern from your hair. So I decided I wanted to sort of get back in touch with my curls again, get a sense of like what my curls even were, especially since I think curls are a little bit more embraced, and there's also just a lot more education around how to take care of your hair. But I will say it's been really fucking hard, Elaine.
Yeah.
I like every day I don't really know what I'm going to get when I get out of the shower. If, when I traveled back to the East Coast, a couple months ago and it was humid, my hair was not loving it. It's, I think, easier here in California where the climate is drier. So I think there has been, and I'm feeling a lot of, I think, some guilt and shame around it. I've been feeling like I want to potentially start the keratin treatments back up again. And I have this fear of losing my curl because I actually really don't want to lose it entirely. I don't want to have stick straight hair, but I also would really prefer a lower maintenance way to be right now. And in some ways, and I don't know whether or not like how much of this is like chicken or egg, but I think I feel a little bit more myself when my hair is a little bit more under control. And I don't know how much of that is sort of societal pressure or if that's just like me.
This is something I don't have the answer for you on, Carlyn. I feel like this is like a very individual journey.
It is. It is. Well, it's interesting. And you and I have touched on this before, but, I see women with amazing curls out in the world. And I have some curl envy. And, I actually think these days my curls look like mostly like good. Maybe not great, but like good. Yeah, I really wish I could be the woman who kind of rolls out of bed and has a brilliantly like full hair of curls, but I just don't know if that's the reality. So it's something that it's something that I've been grappling with. But yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. It makes me kind of sad, but I do understand. So I understand because I like ease is I'm in the same boat in the I prefer ease over
Yeah.
optimized beautification.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why I'm sad? I think I'm sad because there have just been so many pressures over my 36 years to figure out my hair, to deal with it, to it's become a thing. When you first introduced this subject, I was immediately brought back to like the first time I kind of realized that our hair was different. I don't know if you had this experience, but in elementary school, girls would often play with each other's hair.
Hmm.
And then there was like something that happened in like second or third grade where this black girl in my class was basically like, you shouldn't let like white girls play with your hair
Hmm.
because it's just like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But I actually really loved having my hair played with.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of exemplifies the struggle that I've been having with my hair my whole life, which is that it's not normal. It doesn't fit into the classifications. And then, like in high school, girls would do each other's hair, and I wanted to partake in that. But because of this rule, I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
And so it's like I never knew where I stood with my hair, and it never knew what that relationship was with other people,
Hmm.
and how they saw my hair. And so it makes me sad.
Yeah. You're reminding me. So one is a very light anecdote, but I went to get a massage a couple weeks ago, and the woman, it was one of the ones where she actually went into my hair, and afterwards it was all tangled and like bushy up. So, and I was like, oh gosh, when I had keratin treatments, this never happened. But I also am like you, where I love getting my hair played with and like
Yeah.
people massaging my head. But like, the reality is, unless they really know how to do it well, it does end up like tangled or frizzy or whatnot. So I feel
Yeah.
you on that. But you're also reminding me of I remember the first time I got my hair straightened. It was for, do you remember MORP, prom spelled backwards?
Yeah.
Yes. So for listeners, the school that Elaine and I went to, there was an event, our eighth grade, sort of our graduation from eighth grade to ninth grade, and it was called MORP, which is prom spelled backwards. And the girls would ask the guys from the neighboring brother's school to our dance. And I remember I was with my friend of the time who was, blonde haired, blue eyed, and I was getting ready at her house, and we had planned to go to a hair salon before MORP to get ready and sort of get our makeup and hair and nails done. And we're at the salon, and frankly, like the hairstylist just did not really know what to do with my hair. And so she suggested that we straighten it. And I remember, in the worst way, and this actually makes me sad now talking about it, feeling so beautiful that night because everyone was like, you look like a model, or your hair looks like Naomi Campbell. And then the other part that makes me really sad is I remember coming home that night, and Dad was really sad that I had gotten my hair straightened.
Mm.
So there was this tension of, this is how the world is seeing me, but I also feel like I've betrayed a part of myself too. And I think there's a part of that sentiment that frankly like continues to sit with me.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do think it's interesting how mom and dad were so pro curl. I I wonder where that comes from, because it's not like people in dad's family, the black side of our
Yep.
family,
Yep.
didn't
Yep.
have like perms or relaxer.
Yeah. I do think mom and dad tend to be like advocates of the unnatural
Yeah. Well, and I
vibe
think
and
it comes down to more to like loving who you are
who you
than just
are.
like
Yes. 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 I share this anecdote. I have two close friends here in LA. Both are in biracial or interracial marriages. One of my friends is white. She's married to a biracial man. They have two girls with very beautiful curly hair. And then I have another friend who is biracial, married to a white man, and she, my friend, has very curly hair. And her daughter has curly hair, but not as curly as hers. And I share this because my friend with the two daughters with like very curly hair, it's been such an interesting kind of mirror to watch her take care of her daughter's hair because there's just like so much more stuff even for like girls and babies
yeah.
that like she is educated in a way that like mom couldn't be, for example, around curly hair. And also just the way that when I see the girls at like their birthday parties and whatnot, everyone's complimenting their curls and
Yeah.
like how beautiful they are, which in a way I don't
It's a
feel like
stark
we got
difference.
that.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
stark difference.
Yeah.
And then my other friend who is biracial and has a child, she and I were talking about this recently because she often wears her hair straight. She doesn't straighten it. She does this thing. I don't know if you ever do this where with our hair texture you can like pull it back and blow
Mhm.
dry it in a way that it sort of dries straight and you stretch
Yeah.
out your curls. And we were talking about it because she was like, honestly, a big part of it is ease. Some of it is the professionalism. But she's like, but I'm like realizing that my daughter has only ever seen me for the most part with straight hair. And what kind of message am I sending her to her by not doing that? So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I know that, Black women are dealing with this all the time. And I don't want to say it's any different for like biracial women, but there is also this like interesting nuance that I think has maybe come up for me there too.
Yeah. So I do have a question. So we've
Yeah.
talked about kind of going straight.
Yeah.
And we talked about how I have in the past have had cornrows and braids.
Yeah.
And
Which
honestly,
I've
that was
never done.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was my
Yeah.
question. So
Yeah.
I honestly, that was the easiest time for my hair, because
Yeah.
you like really didn't have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
have you ever considered braids or cornrows or anything like that?
It's such a good question. So I have another friend here in LA. Apparently I have a lot of biracial friends and interracial friendships here in California, but she's biracial and similar, probably like maybe slightly curlier hair than mine, but like very similar. And she she grew up in like fashion and beauty, and that's also what she does for work. And so every time I see her, her hair looks different. And she rocks like natural curls. Rocks straightened hair. She rocks braids. She rocks like boho braids. She rocks like bantu, like all of the stuff. And every time I see her, I'm like, Lila, your hair looks so good. Honestly, the last time I saw her, she had these beautiful long braids. And I was like, man, I like at some point maybe I would try them. Honestly, my hesitancy, I think there's two things. One is a very silly one, which is I don't like my hair getting pulled.
Mm.
And I know the process of braiding like requires a lot of hair pulling and tightening, which I just have a sensitive scalp and I get headaches from it. Like I get it even when just people are like pulling my hair back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the other piece, like super admittedly, is there's the professionalism piece, which again, there's a lot of shame that comes up for me when saying it. And honestly, I don't think that any job I've ever had would ever hold it against me, to be honest, if
Mm.
I had braids. But it's this sort of culturally imprinted thing that I'm actually curious if I had grown up purely in like the aughts or in the past 10 years, I would maybe have a very different philosophy around it. But the truth is, I think there's some hair baggage I'm holding on to, especially from like the 90s and early aughts.
I think that's completely legit. I had a friend who, at my first law firm, is black. When she got braids for the first time in the office, she had a perm before.
Yep.
We talked about it before she went and got it. She was like, "Is this professional? Can I do this?
Yeah.
Will clients still respect me?"
Yeah.
I think that's still a conversation that is being had.
Yeah, it definitely is. So we talked about this taking this thread, which is a really important one, but maybe I don't want to undermine it by bringing this anecdote in, but I watch Love Island like pretty religiously. I love my
Yes,
reality TV. And one of the
which I
things
do not
that
understand, but yes.
it's so good. Okay, one day we will do an episode on reality
No, I
TV and why I
don't.
love it.
No. Because then I will be forced to watch a whole episode of reality TV, and I just don't think I have it in me.
Oh my gosh, I just am dying to know why you're so opposed to it. But
Because I get really frustrated. I think I get like too invested. I
yeah.
think this is a complete tangent, but I think people who enjoy reality TV show just love the mess for the mess, and I
Yeah.
just like overanalyze it and be like, you could have done this instead
Oh my
the
god.
whole time.
But that's the brilliance. Okay, we're going completely off
Yeah.
tangent. But okay, anyway, right now what's somewhat unique is that there are 2 seasons of Love Island happening simultaneously. There's Love Island UK and Love Island US. And for those who are not familiar with the format, Love Island generally happens for about 6 weeks in every season, and an episode is posted every night, and it's happening real time while these people are living in this villa looking for love. And one thing I've noticed, which I shared with you, but I want to dive deeper into it, is that the women in the UK version, specifically the women of color, and especially the black women, are mostly wearing wigs. While as in the USA version, the women of color are like really embracing their curls and or wearing, boho braids, box braids, or just honestly like fully natural hair in a way that is, I think when I'm seeing them back to back or sort of like in parallel, the contrast is pretty stark. And it feels like there's like still there's cultural stuff happening in both of these seasons. And obviously the UK and the US, there's some cultural contexts there that are really different. But there's been some conversation on Reddit about it. I've noticed it and frankly really been loving seeing all of the natural curls and hair on USA. And then when I find that I switch back to watch UK, I get frustrated seeing the wigs, which I have no place in feeling frustrated, right? Because that's also like truly, and not that comes from a place of no judgment. It's just like, yeah, it's like it feels backwards in some ways. So I've been just trying to kind of wrap my head around that a little bit, but I think on the positive side, it's making me feel even more optimistic, I think, about like curl representation and what it means to be like beautiful also in the US. And I know we started there to this tangent anecdote coming from a place of like professionalism, but I actually think the two are kind of interconnected, right? Professionalism and beauty.
It's all
For
about
women,
standards. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the more that we see women who people are like, she is so beautiful on places like film and TV or out in the world who are rocking natural curls, the more that it will be seen as professional. That's my instinct.
Yeah.
It's like
And also I think hopefully in more professional settings. I've told you this, but I am a fan of the TV show Elsbeth.
yeah,
And there is a character there who rocked natural hair for most of 2 seasons
yeah,
and looked amazing, and then got a promotion and immediately relaxed her hair, as if in her new position as a detective, that was unprofessional. So it's not just that we see women with natural hair. It's that we see women with natural hair in certain positions that imply professionalism.
Yeah. Which also makes me not want to, this is also part of the battle, right? And we've talked about this before in past episodes and sort of related to different themes, but I want to model curl embracing, right? For younger people. I think especially as someone who, I manage people, I lead teams. And yeah, it's a very emotional decision, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like in general this topic is just not as present to me as it is to you.
Yeah.
I think if we had talked about this 10, 20 years ago, I would have been really in it. In my feels. But I think in the last 10 years, I've kind of made the decision that straightening my hair won't make me happier. And there are difficulties with my hair. Like I don't like that I have to shower every morning, even if I've showered like the previous evening. But I think to me that is worth it to feel like me at the end of the day. And so I think, like I said, I think if we had had this conversation 10 years ago, you would have gotten a way more emotional response out of me than you're getting today, which is just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, you just answered, I think, sort of the final the question, which is, why do you wear your hair the way you do? Which is so perfect. And I think what I'm maybe still figuring out is, what is the hair choice that will make me feel like most me? I don't know. I don't like having frizzy hair.
Yeah.
And I also don't like spending a lot of time on my hair.
And I would also offer that maybe the next couple months is a time for you to kind of explore. I think part of the reason why I do feel acceptance of this is because I've done a lot of exploration.
Yeah.
Both ways, always.
Yeah.
And I feel just as not myself with straight hair as I do as with braids.
Yep. And I agree. To be clear, I agree about the straight hair too. I think it's because I don't feel like myself when I have fully straight hair, but I also don't feel fully myself when I have frizzy hair. So I think I'm trying to learn what the medium is. I'm trying to learn how willing I am to take care of my hair, how much I'm willing to spend on my hair, both, time and money, and how to lean into what mom and dad have beautifully gifted me, because I love our curls and I love your curls without, I don't know. It's an interesting balance, but I am definitely more in it than you are. So,
and I also don't want to devalue you being in it just because I'm no longer in it, because I remember how tough it was. It's isolating and it's hard and there's no actual real answer because it's everybody finds their thing. And I think it's also lifelong. Like, who knows what my hair is going to do in the next 10 years and how I'm going to respond to that. So I might be back in it.
I was going to say, what is menopause going to do to our hair? I'm so
Who
curious.
knows?
I know.
Who knows?
I know.
So I don't want to come off as dismissive.
Oh, I don't think you are at all.
In the midst of it.
I don't think you are at all. And honestly, I wasn't in it when you were in it. So, yeah. Well, thank you for this conversation, Elaine.
Yeah. Carlyn, before we go, I just have to shout out to your bangs.
No, not the bangs. That's like the worst chapter in my hair history.
So what was it? 4th grade?
I think it was like 5th grade. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody in Carlyn's class was going through the bang thing. And
the bang thing. And also I was like, again, one of the only curly haired / like women of color, girls of color in, in a class of mostly white women with like stick straight hair. Continue, Elaine. Yeah.
So Carlyn decided that she also needed bangs without any thought to how her hair.
I will say mom strongly resisted.
Mom was right. So Carlyn cut it, and of course her curls bunch up.
Oh my gosh.
So
oh my gosh. I looked like I was a little I looked like a sheep. I looked like a sheep. Like
wait, I feel like it was like a hairstyle at some point. But it was great.
We'll find a photo, and if I'm feeling willing and up for it, we will post it.
It was a statement.
I can't believe. I remember when Mom cut my curls, and I was so excited. She was like, "This is a terrible idea," and I was like, "I need bangs so bad." And then as soon as I got them, I was like, I need these gone.
You must have had them for a while, because it took a while for them to grow out.
Yeah. Oh man, I've like, thank you, Elaine, for bringing that up. That is a part of my hair history that I've tried to. It's like back in the back chambers.
What are little sisters for? We
Oh
have to bring these things up.
Oh my gosh, so good, but so bad. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed our conversation this week, we look forward to sharing more with you.
Follow us now so that when our next episode premieres in 2 weeks, you can be sure not to miss it. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
See you next time, everyone.